Get out of here. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Why don't YouTubers let's try and get to the top of this hill. And there we are. Right. Right. Let's do a topic. I've already recorded it and then accidentally deleted the footage by accident. And the topic is as follows: the 0-hour contracts. So if you're not familiar with what they are, basically it's what employers can give you. So basically employers can sign you up so you officially can do up to 0 hours a week. Yes, that means £0 received a week. And they don't have to do anything. Yeah. And, well, let's put it this way. They need banning, really. They can work in some ways, but because there are quite a lot of companies out there now who have these 0-hour contracts for employees, and I'll go into it why it's and basically, and it doesn't take long to realise that these 0-hour contracts are rubbish. Right, now there was 1 million people employed, or just over 1 million, with 0-hour contracts. And basically, I'm one of them. So I know a lot about it. I've gone from one 0-hour contract to another. Basically, to be honest, I've gone from working at Morrison's to now working at my mum's place, where we just left. But one of my mum's places, you get a solid 40 hours a week. Morrison's, no you didn't! I had 2 solid full weeks and I worked there for 6 weeks. In fact, the reason why they got rid of me, and here's the bad reason why 0-hour contracts are bad for some people like me, is like if you go from if you have one 0-hour contract and you get another job, right, they get so off that you're not working for just them under a 0-hour contract and doing 0 hours for them, but they get rid of you without even telling you. Seriously. Because I started working when my mum works. Right. We had to apply for P46 because obviously that means you're working at 2 different places. I was going to go the exciting way for this video, but I just seem to have just gone the boring way. What's the with you? And basically, we just figured out that they got rid of me simply because they received the P46. I went, oh, he's now got another job. So, sure enough, a couple of weeks later, I got the P45 from them, from Morrison's, in the post. And we just tut away, because it's just bad. Without a word said, no text, no phone call, nothing. What was I? Yeah, 0 hour contracts. So I've now started up another one, a second 0 hour contract, but it's actually more solid 40 hours. It's because they just class me as a student there rather than as an actual full-time worker, so you can just pay me as a 0 hour contract. But I can go permanent eventually, maybe, if they have enough work for me, that is. I'm still going the boring way. Why? Now here's the reason why one of the reasons why it works for some people is because my dad started a new job, which is 0 hour contract as well, but because he's self-employed himself, so he has a bit of work anyway here and there. That works for him because it doesn't matter if he gets 0 hours a week from the company he's now working for. He's always got a little bit of money coming in from his dad's own business. I know someone else who's got a full-time job at a Vodafone shop and a sort of part-time 0 hour contract as a care worker. So in a sense that way, she can get a lot of money still. Actually, look, it's funny because if I was in a car now, I would still be miles behind. So that works for her. Like she says though, because with 0 hour contracts is one of the bad reasons you don't get maternity leave, you often don't get sick pay, holiday pay is worked out a bit weird really. It can either be figured out how many days you work there as a holiday pay, so you'll get 2 days every month, or my dad's version, you get 12.5% pay for every hour worked. So when it comes to sick pay, it can work and it can't work. Holidays, so sick days you don't get usually, and your maternity leave is a pretty much definite no-no when it comes to 0 hour contracts. But I mean, here's the worst thing about 0 hour contracts. If you are a 0 hour contract worker, that means you're now employed. So it's a number off the 2.4 million list, right? And in a sense, it's the government that brought it in, and I think it was more of a scheme to get people to get to work, but it often doesn't work for a couple of reasons. I mean, for one, if you work 0 hours in a week, or as I figured out, 8 hours, you're actually, even that's 8 hours a day, you're still worse off than being on the job seekers. In fact, you need to work 2 days, really, in a sense, to sort of be earning just a bit more than job seekers. And therefore, and then you got the other problem of sorting out every single week, pretty much, there and thereabouts, with like if you are on usually if you are low income earner, obviously you probably got housing benefit, so you need to sort that out all the time. Some of the people I was working with there at Morrison's didn't have a tax code, so they're paying like, I think someone were paying like £5 for like, every week and whatever they were earning because they didn't have a tax code. Obviously that's all figured out and sorted out later on in the year. But that means they could end up with a solid big figure that they have to pay. Which isn't very fair. Aww. There's a couple, oh god, there's hundreds of reasons. And then obviously, if you have got a mortgage, you can't get a mortgage, really. And then, I don't know that. See there, like I did there, but you can see it from a mile off. Oh. That's why I question sometimes whether putting blues and twos on, like siren wise. Then again, he was turning, look. That's road closed. Yeah, the bike's a bit slippery around the road. Maybe it needs some pressure in the tyres. Anyway, you can't have a mortgage. I mean, how are you supposed to feed yourself on £0 a week? How are you supposed to pay bills? How are you supposed to have monthly contracts if you know you might not get anything whatsoever? It's and then that starts, and then again, it starts putting the economy into, it starts putting our country even, shall I say, into more debt, because basically we're now borrowing more and more money off the banks, off having loans, having payday sharp loans even, to try and pay for debt, and more, and then people start getting into trouble, they start resorting to crime to pay for sharp loans because they can't pay for them. In effect, the country is a little bit screwed up from the government due to stupid governmental ideas. Yes, it gets people off the dole as such, maybe. Not really. It doesn't really get people off the dole. Okay, they're not the class side up anymore. But that means the worst of them, other people. It just means that, and the worst part is that just because they're working doesn't mean they're paying any tax. They're not earning enough in a year to pay any tax.